Hey, welcome to the live. Hey, Joyce, how you doing? Welcome to the live, everybody. How have y'all been on this Monday morning, about to be afternoon? I was writing, and there are like so many changes that's happening. Like I'm just observing like the shift of the energy, and it's just like so many changes are happening, and some I can see them clearly, but for the most part it's just something I can feel. Like I can just feel like things are becoming different, and I can feel them within myself. And yeah, I just see like there's so many changes happening. I almost can't even keep up with it, with the changes that are occurring. And I don't know about you, but I am not one of those people that tend to embrace change. Oh hey y'all, hey Libby, hey Libby Lou. Yeah, I am not one of those people that embrace change, and that's something that I can be honest with about myself. What is the truth about yourself that you have accepted? Because I think in order for you to become who you really are, or if you want to heal and grow, or wherever you are on your journey, I don't know what you are aiming for, but I think the number one thing to do is be honest with who you are, and also be honest with who you're not. I think it's more so be honest about who you aren't, not who you are. No, be honest about who you aren't. Because then when you can be honest about that, now you know what your work is. And you might be like, you know what? I don't want to work on that. I want to keep that. Thank you for participating. I struggle with change too. I like to be comfortable in my routine, but I'm trying to break free of that. What are some things that you are doing to break free from that? What are you doing, Diva? What's one of the things that you're doing to break free? Okay, Libby Lou said, I acknowledge that I am very complacent in life. Hmm. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people want to admit that they're complacent as well. And maybe their complacency is exactly where they want to be. Maybe. For me, I just want to live my life fully. And one of my fears is that I live a mediocre life. But one thing that I am wanting to accept is that maybe it's okay to be a mediocre life. And maybe that desire of not wanting to be mediocre is one of your limitations. Because everybody ain't going to be a star. Everybody ain't going to be known. Everybody, and can you still live a beautiful, wonderful life and be proud of the person you are, even if that led you to living a mediocre life? Because, especially with social media, and you have all these people portraying a certain lifestyle or a certain framework that might not even be reality, but social media has created a platform and a place for people's idealistic views and romanticizing life, but not necessarily realities of life. Because what you see on social media is not what's actually going on in the world. Like if you go out into the world right now, if you just go outside your door, you will see that life is actually pretty peaceful. There's nothing going on. But as soon as you get back onto one of these screens or the television screen, now all of these ideas, all of these viewpoints are coming at you, making you feel like this is what the world is based in. But when you go outside your door, there's nothing there. There's nothing that is going on. But the media is painting a picture to us of what is going on. When reality, it's not really affecting people as much as we would like to think it is. Like we're always saying, um, these times are getting worse. Times are getting harder. Maybe, but for some people, this is the best time of their life. For some people, there's a lot of people out here that might not be making no money and they broke, but there's a lot of people out here that this is the most money they ever made in their life. This is the happiest they've ever been. So it's like not we. I just say me. I'll just say I'll bring it back to me, because these are the things that I think about. That I have to be careful what I see online, and also not even like online, even just with myself, the thoughts, the ideas that I have within myself they definitely have led me astray. The ideas that I had in my head definitely led me astray. The ideas that I had in my head painted something that wasn't there. Will never be there. But I followed the idea versus looking at the reality of things. And that is something that for me, I am taking accountability on, is that even though my ideas have the ability to help and improve my life and others, that also have me living a life in a version of myself that's not actually beneficial for me. I like, because people ask me like, do you want to have more children? I say I like the idea of having more children, but I was smart enough not to have any more children. But I like the idea of it. So that's what I've been contemplating on, is how much of my life has been led by my ideas versus reality. Diva said, moving aboard. Oh, maybe you meant, oh, yeah, you did. Moving abroad soon is one way for me to embrace change. Yeah. It's scary because I'm doing it on my own, but I know I'll be fine. I'm so proud of people like you, Diva, that you have the courage to do that. You have the courage to move abroad on your own, especially as I'm assuming that you are a woman. And excuse me, y'all, I've had a cold since last week, and it's like I've definitely better, but it's still lingering, and like just to be able to talk, and my energy is not 100%. But yes, and I'm like kind of a little in the head, but I still wanted to just come on here and talk to you guys and and start bringing some consistency on this platform. Um, so yeah, so just bear with me if I just yeah. Yeah, so back to you, Diva. If you have any questions for me about living abroad and just doing that, I'm always here for that. But I will say is that my experience isn't about me being independent doing anything like that. That's why I commend any woman that has the courage to live abroad and do it on her own. Like, I love that for you so much. And that's something that I've never really had the courage to do, because when I moved abroad, I went to a group of people. Like, I had a destination that I was going to. It wasn't like, I mean, even though that took a lot of courage to do as well. That I'm not, minimizing my experience, but I did that. I made that decision based on that I knew someone and I had somewhere to go, and that wasn't something that I had to think about. I had other things to think about, but I didn't have to think about my livelihood and shelter and all of those things because somebody already had that laid out. And I've always used that as a blueprint of me moving anywhere. It's like if I have some shelter, if I know somebody, that's all it's going to take for me to go. And and so even throughout my journey, like I have someone, I'm in a relationship with someone. So all the times that I moved, it just wasn't relied upon me figuring it out. And I'm very thankful for those experiences, despite everything that I had to endure with that. But I'm still thankful that it had allotted me to be able to do the things that I've been able to do over these years. But I really admire women that is going to do this on their own. They're going to figure it out and they're going to do it. Like, I really admire that. Libby said, I enjoy my simple life because I get to preserve my energy for the things I do enjoy, traveling and experiencing new things. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's what it comes down to with a mediocre life. As long as you're doing the things that make you happy, they don't always have to be witnessed by the world. They don't always have to be validated by the world. And I think with social media, as much as I love social media, um, that's what it's really breeded. It's really breeded a space for people wanting to be validated, for people wanting to be seen, almost to the point where they lose their authenticity. They don't even really know what authenticity is unless it's being witnessed by somebody and then they're calling it authenticity. Like, that's what I've learned over these years with social media, is that we have observers of our experience. So because there's someone observing your experience, it's no longer the experience that you could actually have if somebody wasn't observing. And that's what we call that. We call that the observer's effect. That when the particle is being observed, it changes its form and shape. And there's nothing we can do about that. That's just the way that it is. But when you are in your own space with no witnesses, with nobody viewing you, that's who you really are. Like, truly, purely, that's who you are. But as soon as you put the phone up to your face, it's like now something is watching you. Even if it's your own reflection looking back at you, like, now you are no longer you. You're another version of that is being witnessed. And I'm just saying this because I don't think a lot of people realize that. And it's nothing wrong. It's just that I want people to be aware of that when it's happening. Like, this isn't the purest version of you. This is the version of you that's being seen by others. So it's going to adjust a little bit. And I don't care how hinged a person is. Somebody's still watching you, and it's still shifting and shaping how you're showing up. And I believe that's what social media has breeded. Like, social media, it has really brought a spotlight to human nature, but human nature that is observed, not necessarily human nature that exists, but human nature that is being observed existing. That's the version that we're getting on social media. Even like with me talking to you guys, like, you're getting the version of me that's being observed by you. And that is, we don't have nothing to say about that. It's just my thought. Yeah. Diva said they need our energy to create that reality. Yeah. And it's interesting how it has evolved over the years, because now social media is it just evolved. And I hate sounding like one of them old fogies. Back in my day when we was doing through the mini, and it was like it's like you can't not get over that, especially when you're like a pioneer or something. And when you see what it has evolved to, it's like you're going to be that old fogey that's like, back in my day, just like with music. Back in my day, music was this, and now look at music. It's just that's just where we like to take it, but it's just different. It's just different. Yeah, but I don't think that anybody has to change up who they are and how they want to use it. But if you want certain things, you might have to do certain things. And for me, it just hasn't felt good for me to do anything different. Like, except for what I've done. I almost don't even want to be on social media no more. Like, I honestly just don't want to be on it no more. Just live my life and live that mediocre life, and that's it. Like, and not be concerned about what's going on in the world at all. That's, but I know that's not realistic at all. But yeah, that's sometimes what I teeter with. Like, I don't even want to be on social media. I don't even want to talk about nothing. Everything has been said. Like, but to me, it's like there's always something to be said, and there's always somebody out there that is that can receive value from you in whatever you choose to put online. But that's just, yeah, that's something that I always go back and forth with. Like, I'm just kind of like over it. Sometimes, like, I want to do something different. I want to do something else. Like, I've already done this, been here, done that. Like, what's the next thing? Like, I think that's more so where my mind is. It's like I like to do things that most people wouldn't. I like doing a thing that's not really cool. I want to, that's what I'm looking for. Like, what is the thing that nobody's doing that I can be a part of that, and that can also be part of my ego. That could just be my ego wanting to do stuff like that. I don't want to be a part of what's popular. Um, but yeah, that's just some of my thoughts that I have sometimes. There, there was. Let me say, there was nothing that you initially did that was wrong. Being in nature with like-minded people who have the same goals as you could have been beautiful. However, when you realized it was a facade, yeah. Um, I think it was, looking back at it now, I think that it was exactly what it was supposed to be. Um, like you said, we were in nature, and I was around like minded people with the same goals, and we were all together. So despite of what was going on, whether it was a facade or not, we were all together. We were all together experiencing this situation, and despite what was going on camera, most days were pretty basic. Most days were just living and existing together. Most days. Um, and again, I'm not talking about what it evolved into. I'm not talking about that. But because I do believe that it evolved the way that it was supposed to evolve to. Because when eventually when we made that situation be him to be the center of it, then what do you expect? I just think anybody that was put in that situation, it would turn out the same way when you put someone in the center of a group and they are the center and the focal point. That's what you're going to get. Now you may not get the exact same thing that he came into, but you're definitely going to get something to that nature. Any I feel like any man that you put in the center of a group and idolize, like that's what's going to happen. But for the most part, when I look at the whole situation, it was beautiful at that time. Is that something that I want again? No. And I'm not even talking about cult vibes. I'm just talking about community, living in community together. I don't want that. Like, and that's not that ain't even something I wanted in the first place. I never went there because I wanted to be a part of a community. Like, I went there because one, I wanted to heal. I wanted to be in nature, and then he asked me to be his wife. That was why I went. I did not go there because I wanted to be a part of the community and any of that. That wasn't even. But other people did go there because that's what they wanted. That wasn't my intention. So over the years since leaving and now settling back into my body and my reality, it's like, yeah, that was something that I did, but I don't want to continue that. And I think what I tried to do over the years was try to continue being in a community or building a community, and it just never worked out. Now I think my husband, that's what he wanted, and that's why he came to that. So I think that's something still within him that he wants to take to, but for me, that's not something that I want. Now I don't want that no more. That was something like, thank you. That was an experience that I had, but it's not something that I see in my vision for my life anymore. It's like I don't want that. Like, I don't need to be around like minded people to validate who I am. And yeah, I'm not afraid of the world. I'm not afraid of Babylon. Like, it's just like there's just nothing about life to where I'm like I have to escape it um, to feel okay. Now at that point in my life, I was like that. I definitely was like that. But now it's like I realize and I embody I meet no one but myself. And the experiences that I have is here to help me discover who that self is. And no matter how hard it could feel or beautiful, it's it's for me to experience me and discover who I am and create a life based based on that. I get exactly what you're saying. CJ, so you know what though? Some of what you are saying is okay. What you talk about, CJ? Some of what I'm saying is okay. What did you talk about? I know you had your natural hair channel back in the day, but have you always been comfortable showing up on camera and being perceived, seen, or judged? Um, I think that carbonation experience is what taught me that. Carbonation trained me and taught me how to be online, like being perceived, seen, or judged. And it's not something that I feel like that I perfected, because that's something that I still am navigating in. But yeah, I don't think anyone will never not go through that, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to show up. I think that's just a part of being human, is learning to be comfortable with being perceived, seen, or judged. Now, I will tell you this: what I don't like, I don't like being seen by people that know me. I don't like being seen by people that know me. I'm okay with being judged and perceived and seen by people that don't know me, but the people that do know me, I don't want to be seen by them. I feel like this live is like confessions. And if anything you want to know, you better ask me now, because I feel like I'm confessing like some stuff. Yeah, I don't like being seen by people that know me. So the y'all that be like, yeah, I've been following you for years and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't want to be seen by you. I'm okay with people that don't know me to judge me. Like, because it's like I feel like I get to be whoever I want to be in that moment. But when you are around people that know you, they are expecting you to be what they know. And I don't like that. I ain't saying that I'm subjected to that, but that's just what I be thinking. And that's why, and sometimes I teeter with the idea of shutting down all my social media and starting over. Cause it's like these are people that just been knowing me and just been following me. But what would happen if I just shut this whole shit down and just started all over and let the people that resonate with this version of me find me? But I understand a good story. I understand that people like to see your evolution and people like to be a part of the journey. But so that if I erase everything, then they're like, well, who the hell are you? So that's the thing I don't like. Like, I don't like my friends and family following me on social media. I don't like it. Like, I don't need their support. I do not care, because I'm not on social media for my friends and family. I'm not there for they got me in real life. But I feel like who I'm here for is the world. Like, social media is a platform for me to connect with the world. Like, all of y'all, I don't know y'all. I don't know any of y'all, but I've connected with y'all and y'all connected with me. I love that, because you don't have a reason to connect with me. You don't have a reason to even like me. You just saw me, this random person online, through my experience. I'm like, you know what? I resonate with that. But with your friends and family, they know you, it's comfortable, they're in your space, then they coming on your social media, like, mind your business. Like, that's how I feel. I don't follow nobody, none of my family. I don't follow none of my family, none of my friends on social media, because this platform ain't for that. Like, if you my friend and family, you should be on my phone. I should be talking to you. I should be talking to you. And if we living together, you in my face, so you can connect with me there. What I'm doing on social media, then it's not for you. It's for them. So you ever hear about people making content and it's like, if your friends and family is watching you and not supporting you, you need to block them. Like, no, I just think that we just think because you know somebody that you should follow them. And I just don't think that you should. I think that you should, because most of my family, they don't talk to me anyways. So why are you following me if you don't talk to me? You don't got my phone number. You know where I'm at. So it's just like, why are you following me on social media when you don't even you got access to talk to me? So that's kind of like how I'm distinguishing it now and figuring out how to create the world I want to have on social media is just this is for my this is for the world. I'm here for the world. Okay. I want to share my thoughts on some of the things you said. A lot sparked in my mind. Yeah, go ahead. Y'all go ahead. Don't like I love when y'all ask questions or when you are engaging in conversation. Like unless I have like a lesson, unless I have like something like a lesson I want to teach. But if I'm just coming on here like, hey y'all, that's the opportunity for you to share, ask, like, yeah. Diva said I almost came because I truly believed it started off with good intentions, but unfortunately his true nature wasn't pure. I wouldn't say his true nature wasn't pure. I just think like in all things, people evolve and they just evolve. I think he evolved. I think that was his problem. He evolved too much. Like if you look at the evolution of how he got started and who he became, like that's a hell of an evolution. You know what I mean? From coming going in the jungle, being butt naked, eating fruit, and being in nature to being in Atlanta, almost pretty much being a pimp and having chains and doing drugs, and that's a big evolution. That's like whoa, you really evolved back into nothing. Yeah, that's how I look at it. You evolved back into nothing. Like there was nothing. You just evolved back into like nothing. That's how, and I stand on that. Like, because what does he have to show forth? Yeah, he has the story to show forth, but as far as like the physicality of our existence, the goal should be to master the physical plane. Yes, you can transcend and be spiritual and all this and that, but can you master the physical plane? And master of the physical plane is money, abundance, inheritance, like legacy, like does who you are give back to the world, to your family. And he didn't do that. Like I said, his story, he does have a story. His story definitely will be told. But I just think that what the opportunity that he had and how it evolved. Just like, well, there is that, and but he ended up just like the rest of them in prison. So they all in prison. So I guess that's just part of that game, that that hood guru game that they all end up in prison at some point. The black man's plight. He's going to end up in or ploy whatever. He's going to end up in prison at some point. Like that's essentially what the story was. Diva said, I feel the same way. I want to block everyone I know before I start my channel. And man, I'm like, I'm out here. I've made content for years, and I feel the same way. It's like, yeah, and I don't know why that is. I mean, I'm sure somebody has a think piece on that, but that's just how I feel. It's just like, yeah, go on somewhere. You don't need to know every little thing I'm doing or saying. I don't need your support in that way. Like, and it's not support. You're just being that. Like, that's how I look at it. Like, for real. Libby says, so are you afraid of your own perception? What do you mean, am I afraid? That's an interesting question. Afraid of my own perception? I I don't think so. Yeah. What did I say that made you ask that question? And the one thing I love to do is sit in my room in my thoughts. The one thing I love to do is sit and talk to myself. I always love to do that all my life. Just talk to myself. So CJ said, you said a lot, but when you said what you said about social media, sometimes it's a mirror, sometimes it's a canvas, and then sometimes it's an anvil. Okay, I like that. Silky said, after you left and you left for a reason, why was you willing to go back after you got your family out safely? Because the reason why I thought I shared this before, when I left, look, okay, I'll say this, y'all, I didn't leave because I didn't agree with what was going on. That's not why I left. Okay, I believed in what we were doing at that time, but when it was that day happened, and I overheard Nature Boy and Velvet and she was saying they didn't want me there, that's why I left, because I was hurt by what they said. Now I should have left. I'm gonna tell you right now. If I didn't hear them say that, I still should have left because they just wasn't taking care of us that had the children, and I needed to get away to rest. But then when I was going back, I was going back because I believe that's where I belong. And like say when you break up with someone and over time you forget all the bad stuff and all you thinking about is the good stuff. Like that's what it was for me. And me and Ketzel wasn't really getting along. We was just, together because we we got out of that situation, we had a child, and we just taking care of our responsibilities. But I wasn't happy. And then I think he started coming around, like coming to my lives and all this and that. And so I just felt like that's where I belong. That's where I belong, and I still believe in it. But then he wanted me to leave that moment, but I didn't want to because if I would have left that moment, he was like, "You need to leave the baby," and I was like, "I'm not leaving my child." Like everybody do what they want to do. I'm not leaving my child. Like I'm not leaving my. I just did something didn't sit right, and then I just remembered that if I'm running away again. Where am I running to? Because it's only me I'm dealing with. So then that's when I was like, no, I need to face this and I need to figure out how to get what I want. And so then that's when I didn't leave in that moment. And I was like wanting to show Kenzel that I can do this. You can trust me with the baby. You don't need to have this baby. And I was like, if the baby, and plus he was nursing. And so I was like, I'll take the baby, but let me show you that I'm capable of handling it. So it took me a month to really feel like to get him to finally say, okay, you can take the baby. Like, but in that month, in that month was when I started seeing stuff. See, time will reveal all things. And so in that month, that's when stuff started looking different, and that's when him and Velvet was it became the Velvet and Alihia show soap opera, and yeah, and it just didn't. I was like, what the hell? And so just different stuff like that was started. I was starting to see like this don't seem like it used to, and so then just make a long story short, when the day that I was leaving, I didn't feel right, but I was like, I still want to go back. And then I ended up missing my flight twice. And so then by that time, I was just like, yeah, I don't think I can go back. And it was heartbreaking for me because I really believed that that's where I belonged. And but I knew that who I became as being a mother, like it was like, nah, I don't think I can go back. Like, and the thing is, he would have bought me a flight or whatever, but I was just like, I made that decision on my own. It was just like I can't go back to that. I can't. If I take the child, I was like, then whatever happens is my fault. Like, and these were the decisions that I made within myself. Nobody stopped me, but it was like I went through a cycle through that decision, and then that's when it came down to, like, because if y'all see, a lot of people left and came back, left and came back. That's not, that situation wasn't unheard of. I had left the first time and went back the second time, and so then I was going to go back again. It's not unheard of to do that in that situation. Like, people come and go, like we're coming and going and coming back. But I just knew that where it was, I didn't know clearly. I just felt it like this isn't the same thing anymore. And I'm glad that I trusted that and then didn't go back, you know. And there are plenty of opportunities to go that I could have went back. But and then they came to Hawaii. They came. It was like, well, you ain't coming to us. We coming to you. Don't you know that's why they came to Hawaii? And but then you saw what happened with that. Like, so it was. So I just know that I'm always divinely protected and guided, even through my own um, blindedness. Sometimes is that I'm going to always be protected and guided no matter what. And yeah, and I think I'm so happy that I did leave. I left in enough time to where I can have a good perspective on that experience. But a lot of people that um, stay too long, it's just like I can see why they will never have a good perspective about that experience. They stay way too long, you know. And with me, I'm glad that things just worked out for me. That I was there for 2 years, and my baby's still alive. I'm still alive, and yeah, and in a good place in my life, personally. So okay. Hold on, because I'll be going on a tangent. Oh, CJ said starting fresh is okay and sometimes called for. I also relate to adjusting to change. I at least like to get my footing, but life has a tendency to pull the rug from under you at the wrong time. You know what I realized, that I don't have a fear. My fear is only because I don't like change. So when you think about your fear, if you're a person that don't like change, I guarantee you that you feel like you have a lot of fear, but that fear is only because it's the root of you not liking change. So when you get scared, what are you scared of? What are you scared of what's going to happen? Because where you at right now, you are okay with where you at right now because it's predictable, it's certain. I can see it. But then when things change, that's when the fear pop up because it's the change that you don't like. Because I think about that when I anytime I'm doing something new, y'all, I am terrified every time. Not because I'm not capable, but because something's going to change and I don't get to control that and I don't even know what is going to change. So then I get scared, you know. And a lot of my fear, a lot of things that I'm afraid of, it's all rooted in change. Like one of the things that I fear is death. But the reason why I fear death is because when I die, this is going to change. I don't know what is going to happen. Something's going to happen, and I don't know, and that's forcing, you know. So that's something that I am acknowledging by myself and doing what I can do to uh, elevate that, because I think it's always going to be in me, but just doing things that will improve that muscle of me embracing change and maybe not being so scared of it. But yeah, everything is about change. I don't like things to change. I like things to be the way they are. So I know, because I want to be in control. I want to know. I want to be certain. Like I know what I can't do, but I don't know what I don't know that I can do. You know. So it's like trying something new. It's like how much of me have to change to do this. You know. Okay. I think that happens on a micro scale and it affects the micro. World problems can affect family problems than individual problems. Are you happy now? Yeah, I can say I'm happy now. Yeah, it's like because it's a choice. Does that mean like that? Am I happy all the time? No, but I'm happy. I'm pretty much happy. I'm happy, happy as I can get. You know, yeah. I'm living the life that I want. I'm healthy for the most part. I'm healthy for the most part. And then my child is healthy and happy. I'm living in Mexico. And despite the decisions that I made, I still got exactly what I wanted. I wanted to be a stay at home mom. I wanted to live in the tropics. And I wanted to just live a certain life. Well, now that I've got that, now, now I want something different. Like I love it here. Like I love like my life, but at the same time, it's like you don't know what you might want something because you don't have it. And so you're going back to the idea, we're chasing the idea of what we want and thinking that it's going to give us the thing. But then once you get it, then you realize, oh, this isn't exactly what I thought it could be. And yes, the different components do play a part on that. All right. Like your idea, you have this idea and this vision, and you know that this is what you want. But in that idea and vision that is in your head based on what you got, it can change the idea and the vision because of the people that you have, the different circumstances. So now that your idea got fulfilled, now it's like, okay, now what? So for me, it's like I love being provided for. I love that I have been able to stay home with my child and do all the things. But the type of person that I am that I did not realize is that I still like to bring value to the world. I still like making money. I actually like to work. Like when I was working, I was like, I don't want no job. I don't want to work. I want to stay home, get provided for, all this and that. And that's because my grandmother told me that's what I should be attaining to. Like find you a good man and get married and all this and that. So that was in my head too why I made that decision. But throughout my life, I've always been independent and worked and took care of myself too. So all of these things have occurred for me. But now that I'm here in this space of my life, it's like, okay, this isn't enough. Like I get it. Like, yeah, I'm being taken care of and I get to be home with my little boy. But that's filling those buckets. But then there's the part of me that still likes to create. It's about creating, bringing value, making money, building something. That is still a part of me. And I didn't know that that part of me still needs to be satisfied. And if it's not, I can see how it's it's gonna keep me from being happy as the person asked the question. Like, and so that is something that I've been sitting with and processing because I'm like, dang, I took that part of myself for granted. Well, I didn't know. I didn't know until I removed it to then be like, okay. But it also something that I learned is don't get caught up in other people's visions. Oh my God. But I didn't know because I didn't have a vision for my life. So of course when people are coming, especially men coming into your life talking with their vision, and if you are a woman that don't have your own vision, you what's a good word for that? What's a good word? Like if you are, I tell any woman, make sure you have a vision for your life. Make sure you have a vision for your life. Don't sit around waiting for no man giving you his vision. You are still an individual. You are still a person, a human being. And I don't think we teach women enough to, young women enough to have a vision. And with me, I can't even say that what I wanted was a vision. It was an idea. Like, oh, get married and have kids and be a stay at home mom. And that could be a vision for somebody. And I know that is. I know that's a vision for somebody. But I think the way to me, it came to me unintentional. It came to me. It came to me unintentional. It came to me because 1 plus 1 equals 2. But it didn't come to me because I intentionally created and cultivated my life to have what it was that I wanted in the way that I wanted it. It kind of just happened that way. And that's what I'm saying is that we need to make sure women, I'm speaking, I know there's men in here, but what I'm saying is as women, make sure you're taking time to create a vision for your life. And it doesn't have to be grandiose, but just like was it Libby or I don't know who was saying that they like a simple life where they can travel and do certain things. Make sure, but it can be just as simple as that. But the thing that I know I took for granted is not being clear on having a vision for my life, but my experiences is what gave me the wisdom to know that now. And that's the thing I realized about myself. A lot of my wisdom is going to take place because of the experiences that I create or that I receive because I don't know. So because I don't know, my life is going to be orchestrated to where oh you're gonna find out, and then once I find out and experience it, then it's like okay, let me tell y'all what I learned through that. It's like the storyline of a Sagittarius, and so that's the thing that I realize is always be working on the vision for your life. Always. Always be working for because then you will be able to see if where you are currently is outdated or it's complete. Let me say that one more time. Always have a vision. Be working on a vision for your life because what that vision will reveal is maybe where you are currently might be outdated or just complete. But if you don't continue to work on your vision for your life and being clear about who you are, what you want, where you want to go, what do you want to have, you won't know if where you are currently is completed or it's just outdated, honey. Because if it's complete, that means it's done. But if it's outdated, it's not necessarily mean that it's done, but it does need to change. Things do need to be changed and need to be adjusted. And I'll leave it right there. Mhm. Yes, Gina, yes. She's already still with your son's dad. Yes. And Zen is 7.5 years old. Yeah. hmm So, y'all, I'm going to cut this short because it's lunchtime. Something that I'm doing is, or wanting to do, I haven't done, I sat down and talked to my family about it last night. It's getting more structured in our time in what we do. Because even me being home and just living life, it's like, okay, I may not have a career or anything like that, but my life still deserves to be structured and ordered as if I did. And that includes my child and just how we function as a family unit. And so just getting more structured with our time and our day because he's homeschooled and me and him are always together. But just because we're always together doesn't mean that he can't have more structure and order in his day. Because I think one of the things that the reason why I wanted this lifestyle and wanted to give this lifestyle to Zen is because the way that school was, it was so structured. It was just like, gotta get up so early in the morning, and then he has to go to school and do all those things. But now I understand why that structure was there and how important it is for children to have structure and order in their life. And you don't even have to have a lot of money. It's just about giving your child the tools and the skills that they can develop themselves in those things. And for me, it's like I might be in one season in my life, but when I see that season has come to a head, I am willing to like evolve and do something different, especially if I'm seeing I'm not getting the results that I want. So I'm willing to like change it up. I'm willing to change it up, but as long as I'm clear about what that change looks like. And so right now it's 12:15, and him and I both been under the weather, and our appetites kind of like been non-existent. Like him and I really haven't been eating well, but I still want to honor that right now it's lunchtime, and so that's what I'm going to do. And maybe on some downtime, I will come back on here later on and chat with you. Okay? I will talk to you later. Bye.